Baby girl, baby girl, baby girl. It is
Hi.
so good to see you today.
How are you, Morgan?
Doing really well. I'm like really on an up, happy day today. So
I love it. I love it. It's so funny. The time between when we see each other, you think it's months, and it's only usually 3 to 4 days.
that, if that.
Listen, everybody, welcome to Getting to After. This is a two-part series, one that I've wanted to do for a long time, but I thought I would wait till a time of year where women really have this on their mind because I want to get you ready and revving for the summer. My name is Chatone Morrison. I'm the Princess of Positivity. I believe that you can release your negativity so your positivity can reign in your brain, your business, and your big, beautiful life. I believe that after 40, things start to happen. And that's what we're here for. Morgan, go ahead and let them know who you are, girl.
Everybody, I am Morgan Bustos, and welcome to Getting to After. I personally am here because I absolutely love and care about everybody. And I want to make sure that you are getting the love and affection that you need and the help that you need to be able to succeed in everything that you do. So let's get this started.
All right, so welcome to Getting to After. Today we're going to delve into something that everyone has experienced. It's those mirror moments. And I know you have them. And if you didn't used to have them, you have them more now than ever because of social media. And I feel that every time we pick up our phone, we're almost looking at our mirror of ourselves, or we're looking at other people and comparing what we see when we look in the mirror. There's that split second time that I think we have multiple times a day when you catch a glimpse of yourself and think, oh no, is that really me?
Ah, yep.
Or you may say, I actually look really good today.
Mhm.
For myself today, I was like, ooh, I hadn't really looked in the mirror. I put makeup on without even looking sometimes. And I was like, okay, it's not really that good of a day. All right, it's time to redo my hair. Like, it's not a great day today. And then I got on with you and I thought, oh, actually, I'm doing okay.
I feel like you're like reapplying your lip and you're like, oh, kind of pop perked
Yeah,
up.
I'm like, it's okay. But here's the thing, the mirrors don't change.
Mm.
What actually changes? What do you think it is?
Well, I think more importantly, like, what if the mirror isn't the problem at all? Like, what if the real change is the way that we see ourselves? And so, because of that, today, that's why we're talking about the difference between seeing yourself and truly facing yourself.
Yeah.
So, throughout the episode today, I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to explore our self image and how our self image is shaped. And also how we can start shifting our perception. And because, we're all about that whole action thing, we're going to go ahead and do a self mirroring exercise.
When I told you we were going to do mirror exercise, you're like, what? What's
Right.
that mean, right? So the cool thing is that it's simple to do. And I love the fact, Morgan, that you've never done mirror work before. This is basically, I have to say, the history behind mirror work for me started with Louise Hay. My mother gave me one of her books, Heal Your Body, I think, Heal Thyself, or something like that. And it really kind of opened me up to affirmations very early in my life. In my early 20s is when I started doing affirmation work and doing mirror work based on information I found in that book. So this is kind of very modified, but it's a way to kind of get started. You know, um, we do this work in order for you to make changes.
Mhm.
The whole premise behind getting the after is that you've got something in front of you that you need to get after, and we're here to help you do that. We're
Yeah.
out here every single Monday at 8 a.m. Eastern time because we know that as you start your week, sometimes you're bombarded with a bunch of negativity. We want to
Mhm.
help you to push through that. So, first things first, have you ever noticed that you look different in every single mirror? Like maybe the bathroom mirror in your bathroom is different from the bathroom mirror that your kids have. Or if you have one of these tall cheval mirrors, you always look amazing. But if you see yourself passing by like a window and you're doing window shopping, you're like, oh no, I look horrible. Has that ever happened? Am I alone?
No, you're not alone because I kid you not, the Sequoia's room has the best lighting. So I always go in there to check out my outfit to see what I really, really look out like because it's perfect. Like it always makes me feel more confident in that one.
Yeah. And I think for me, I don't know, do I have one in this house? I think actually the newest mirror, the mirror that I bought for Caitlin's wedding that,
Mhm.
we used in the reception, I brought that up into our spare bedroom and it's a beautiful mirror. I mean, most of the letters are gone. I know you did that beautiful lettering for us. They didn't make it. Like they did not hold on. But I still have the flowers on it. So it's already a pretty mirror. But it
Mhm.
is just a great mirror. The lighting is good. But the funny thing is, it has nothing to do with the mirror. And we know that. It isn't the mirror, it's our eye. And one of the things that a lot of women have done, especially in midlife, I've worked with so many women who have said that they just don't look in mirrors at all.
Mm.
I know that, working in the beauty brand that we've worked in before, we would always set mirrors up as women were trying out the skincare. And you
Yeah.
could see some women, I know you probably experienced it, they were kind of averting their own glance.
Oh, yeah.
They don't want to look at themselves. I've had
Absolutely.
women tell me, I don't turn the mirror over and tell me they don't look at mirrors.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking, how sad, because I'm looking at you and I'm saying you're beautiful and you're missing that because of something that's going on back here. In my book here, I want to talk about this a little bit, is something I call bra and panties time. And so it really has everything to do with looking at yourself in front of the mirror, no filters, just the raw truth, nothing but you, no shapewear, no makeup, and doing that work. And it does kind of stem from the idea of mirror work, but it's doing that work in front of a mirror and really looking at yourself. I remember reading books where, and hearing theories that you should do that work, but it's to find the flaws.
Mm.
And that is terrible. We're not doing this to find flaws. And we're not necessarily doing this to find so much beauty either. We're doing it to ground ourselves. This is who I am today. And we're
Mm.
going to find ways and reasons to love ourselves today, because today is where we are. You can't project it, future love or past love. Today, you're in your skin today. We want to really make you feel good about that. I know for me, for a long time, I couldn't do it. For many years, I couldn't do it. I avoided mirrors. Getting out the shower was always tricky because we had a whole wall of mirrors, but I managed to do it, look away, because I was taught that I wasn't beautiful enough to look at. What a shame. And this is even after marriage. And I'm here married to a guy who's like, yeah, I'm into it. You know what I mean? And yet I didn't see it for myself. So I hid myself not just from mirrors, but from opportunities, from weddings, from going places, from
Mhm.
traveling. When I think back to all the opportunities I missed that now in my 50s, I probably will not experience again. It's so sad. And it all had to do with appearance and this need for perfectionism.
Mm. It's funny because for me, it was completely different, but it was just as toxic. So my mirror was a liar, right?
Mm,
So for so many years, I looked into it and I saw someone who wasn't worthy. I wasn't worthy of love. I wasn't worthy of safety or to be treated with any kind of respect whatsoever.
yeah.
And you know what happens? Like I've told you many times, dude, like you start to believe it. You really do. And then you start accepting the fact that you deserve to have less than that. And so
Yes.
in that sense, it kinda I let my self-perception lead me into relationships that reinforced that lie constantly over and over for years, and I didn't even question it at all. And then I remember, like, one day I did, and I stood in front of the mirror and I realized that my image that I carried in my head, it did not match who I actually was, and that was a really powerful moment and
So
scary.
profound. Yeah. Scary.
Mhm.
Scary how?
Because of the fact that, like, you believe it. You believe all those lies that you've been told, and it becomes your persona and who you are. So then to be faced with a different reality, like your reality is already distorted as it is. So then
Yeah.
to realize, number 1, this is a lie. My reality is distorted and I can be something else. And when I say that, I already am this something else, but realizing you can step into that part is a really empowering and kind of scary moment in time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I will tell you something. I've watched, I didn't know all that was going on the inside, but I've watched from the outside, seeing you move from those spaces of being insecure, of thinking you weren't enough. And we've talked a little bit about even body confidence and what that looks like through your changing body and things like that, that actually is you moving toward health. But
Mhm.
again, shifting the mirror,
Yeah.
shifting what it looks like. I mean, for anyone who is watching us, can you please give double snaps for my girl? Because she's beautiful, right? But we can listen to people who say we're not. We can listen to people who tear us down. And we can literally take on a mask of someone else's perception. It's
Right?
terrible. We can start looking in a mirror and seeing what someone else sees, and it's not even there.
And that's all
That's
you
where,
see.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all you can focus on is everything that they're projecting onto you because that's their own insecurities and their own frustrations that they had and doubts that they have about their self, and then you carry it as if it's your own.
Yeah. Yeah, Morgan. So, I mean, I think it comes down to this idea of how do we start to break these chains? How do we start to break these feelings that we've had for such a long time? And one of the ways I really believe is important is to have moments of truth all the time. You know, you had your moment of truth, but many of us never think about that we even need one, but you do. So,
Mhm.
one of the things I want you to do is we're going to do a little mirror work today. You know, we're doing new stuff, right? A couple weeks ago, we did some writing release, right? And I think that actually, after doing this exercise, doing write and release would be amazing because you will see what's real and you will see what comes up for you. So let's go
That
ahead and get real. Now, I do have a mirror. I'm not going to hold my mirror up because it's double sided. I want you to see my whole office and scare you to death. But grab a mirror. If you don't have a mirror, or if you're someplace where you can't really do this work and delve into it, then what you can do is you can just kind of focus on yourself with your eyes closed, trying to think about who you are. It's going to feel a little uncomfortable. It may feel, especially if you're someone who has been hiding from yourself, it may feel a little uncomfortable. I'm not going to ask you while listening to this podcast to get into your bra and panties. Don't worry. I'm not doing that. Okay. No one's asking you to get nude right now. But we are going to ask you to look in the mirror, and sometimes the mirror can just be your phone. Um, or grabbing another device that has that photo feature on it and go ahead and use that. Now, because it is a little bit difficult sometimes to do this and it's maybe a little bit uncomfortable, I would love for you to ground us first, Morgan, so we can kind of dispel any negative that you've already maybe feeling based on this conversation, because I think that will help us get started really powerfully.
Oh, that sounds like a really great idea so we can get in the right, like, frame of mind. Let's go
Yes.
ahead and do that. Okay. So we always like to start off by taking off our shoes and putting our feet firmly on the ground. That way it allows us to be able to discharge anything, any negativity, any energy that we have through our feet and into the ground. So you started off great, rubbing your hands together. It gets that friction going, gets you feeling that heat. You can go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and out. Place your hands on your legs. At this moment in time, sweetheart, I just want you to really, really just be present in this moment. Start scanning your body from the top of your head down to your eyes, into your jaw. You might feel some stiffness in your jaw. If you do, you're more than welcome. I invite you to massage it a little bit. So many times we clench our jaw because we carry so much stress and frustration, and we just don't know what to say or what to do. And just allow yourself in this moment in time to release that and really give yourself grace. Now I want you to feel yourself gazing down into your chest. You're more than welcome to take your hand, put it on your chest. I'd like you to place your other hand on your belly. And in this moment, I really, really want to encourage you to just feel the love and the safety and the security of the weight of your hands on your heart and on your stomach. Just know that you're cared for, that in this exact moment of time, you are safe, you're loved, and you're here to heal. Open your mind and allow your mind to be able to be in a position to allow yourself to heal, to accept new changes, to change your thinking, work on things that um, bring you peace. Now we're going to go ahead and take our focus, and we're going to take our hands and we're going to put them down onto our legs. And just rub your hands gently back and forth on your legs, and then be still for a minute. Embrace the stillness. Enjoy the peace that comes with that. Feel your breath through your body as it comes in coolly through your nose. And as you're breathing out, feel the warmth move out through your mouth. Feel your body relax. Take your head and tilt it towards your shoulders. Roll it around to the back of your neck, to your other shoulder, and just feel at peace. Feel the tension releasing in your neck, going down your spine. feeling yourself seated firmly in your chair and your feet firmly on the ground. Take another deep breath in. Hold it for just a second and then release it. One more deep breath in, softly and gently. And with love and compassion, release all of the negativity inside of you out through your breath. And then whenever you're ready, I welcome you back to open your eyes and join us for this session.
Thank you, Morgan.
You're welcome. I think that, honestly, like I love grounding. That is one of my favorite things to do
It's so good.
because
Well, it incorporates all these things.
yeah, like, and especially resting your eyes when you do that, it helps your nervous system so much because you're not having all these sensors that are being
Yes.
overstimulated. So just
Yes.
even closing your eyes for a couple of minutes, even if you're not doing everything else, but closing your eyes and just breathing and being still, it does so much for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think that a part of mirror work, it kind of is an extension from grounding. So I'm glad you did that with us. And
Mm.
for those of our audience who are watching this premiere today, if you didn't do the grounding, come back to it, like bookmark it, come on back to the grounding because you're going to find it really does change how your day is going. And you can do it any time of day. You can do it before going to bed. I know that most of the naturopaths that I've worked with, my coaches, etc., have always ground me, even when I didn't know what grounding was. That's what they were asking me to do before we started working together, and it always made such a profound difference in the work.
Yeah.
So, with mirror work, it's kind of similar. Again, you can do this. You can look this up, and I'll put some resources in the description box below if you would like some additional resources about mirror work. This mirror work really has to do with that reflection. So we've been talking about the mirror. We've been talking about the mirror being an enemy almost, and
Mm.
kind of going beyond the reflection, beyond what you're seeing, and getting more reflections of confidence and compassion and truth. So we're going to look at this mirror work right now. Again, you may pick up your mirror. What I want you to do as you're looking into your mirror is I want you to focus on your own eyes. The first thing. So you're going to keep your eyes open. And mine is not on, but I'm just going to mimic it so you can see what it's like. And I want you to look at yourself for a moment. And again, you could do this in a full length mirror if you wanted to. Again, if you want to come back to this later on when you're at home. The first goal though, now because we are doing this together on, this platform. So I want you to look at your own eyes and look into your eyes. I don't want you to focus on your hair. I don't want you to focus on wrinkles or anything else, especially like if you're older and you're in your 40s, you're starting to have gray hair, you're starting to notice there's some laugh lines here, anything going on here. I don't want you to look at any of that. I just want you to look at your eyes. This is the part of you that has seen every single thing you've overcome.
Mm.
We don't think of eyes like that. In midlife, we start to think about, and look, I'm a proponent of eye cream. I love it. But we only see what doesn't work. Maybe your eye's getting hooded. It's hard to put on eyeshadow. Maybe you're like me and you've been battling something like this. This has been 9 months of me battling this, right? On and off getting stars like crazy. Maybe you look at yourself, and we've talked about this, you see, oh, my brows, they're not perfect, or I have to pencil them in so strong because I don't have any. Or maybe you're looking underneath. So I have luggage under my eyes. I'm carrying luggage like I'm going on a cruise because of the bags you have. What I want you to do is just look at your eyes, the part of you that see, the gift that so many people who are visually impaired do not have. And just remember that they've seen everything that you've overcome. And just think about that for a second. All the things you've done amazing, all the obstacles you've had, all the things that didn't work that you wished could, they've seen you overcome all of that. Now, step two, after you've given yourself a good look in your eyes and really seen yourself for who you are, with love, with compassion, I want you to say one truth. Now, this truth should not be a judgment. It doesn't have to be a compliment, just a truth. So an example of this might be, I am here.
Mm.
I am growing. I am working. I'm real. I am a daughter.
Mm.
And when you do that, just one truth about who you are, maybe the first thing that comes to your mind is, I'm fat. Maybe it's that I'm flabby. Or maybe it's that I have a double chin. Or you may say something else negative, because that's where we go. I want you to come up with something that's not necessarily a compliment, but it's also not a judgment or a negative, just the truth. And just say that to yourself. And again, later on, and maybe something you want to write down, or remember that this is who you are. Then the third step is notice how you feel. Again, you're still in the mirror. How do I feel? How do I feel right now? I have watched women do this and break down crying because they realize that all these bottled up things, and they don't allow themselves to look at themselves. And when they finally do, they're not crying out of sadness. They're crying out of love, out of missing her. So notice how you feel. And if you have resistance, if now, okay, we're doing this for a few minutes, you're like, I want to look away. Don't look away. Don't fight this work. Just observe and see how you feel. Notice what comes up for you. Is anger coming up? Is sadness coming up? And you can see how mirror work works along, Morgan, with tapping, because when you do this work, then you see what comes up. You ground, you release, then you bring up more emotions. You get into tapping. It's so powerful. So now that we've done these 3 steps, there's way more to mirror work, but we wanted to do a brief little example of what it's like. Just to give you a taste of it. Let's take one big, deep cleansing breath into the nose, out through the mouth. And everything that might have come up that was not positive, I want you to exhale with this breath. Now, what came up for you? If something came up that you feel like sharing, drop us a note in the comments. Whether you're seeing this with us in the premiere live or later on you're seeing this, drop us a comment. We would love to know what happened during your mirror work, because owning it is where real transformation begins. How did that work for you, Morgan? Knowing that this was your first time doing this, how was that?
Well, that was kind of trippy because I've I've heard about this mirroring thing, but I've never experienced it the way you were walking me through it. You know what I mean? Because there's been times where, like, I'll catch myself, I'll look in the mirror and I make dead eye contact with myself.
Right, right, right.
Flood of thoughts and emotions come through, and then I'll typically, like, look away, right? So then with you telling me to consistently keep my gaze on myself, it
Yeah.
almost forces you to have to be very, very present and very honest,
Yes.
because you can't stop yourself from thinking, the next thought and the next thought and the next thought, you know? And it just
It's
made me
it's powerful.
yeah, it just made me realize that a lot of people think that confidence is about fixing how you look,
Yeah.
but real confidence honestly comes from fixing how you see.
Oh, wait a
And
minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Don't get deep.
I know that was pretty good, wasn't it? Fixing how you see. So
Whew.
your perception of everything, not just not your just of yourself, but everything that you're seeing. Because we can't help it. We're naturally judgy people. Like, humans are
Yeah,
naturally judgmental. And so it's you analyzing the person over there and comparing yourself to this, or looking at this TikTok and saying, well, why don't I look like that? Or my clothes don't
yeah,
look like this, or my hair doesn't look like that, or my body
yeah.
doesn't look like that. We just naturally do that. And it made me think about how when I was younger, like, I really struggled with an eating disorder. I was completely obsessed with, like, I was just, like, naturally athletic,
Mhm,
right? Our
mhm.
family was natural athletes. And so my dad had me in a gym when I was 13 because, like, that's just what we did.
Wow,
It
wow.
was so much fun. But then I realized I got to a point where I was obsessing over a number on the scale,
Mhm.
and that messed with my head so badly. And then there was another section in my life where I really worried about, like, the number on my tag, like,
Oh,
what
they're
does
close. Okay.
yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, the number on my clothing, like, what size it said, and as if, like, that number could tell me, like, my value or my worth,
Right.
like, you know what I
Wow.
mean? That number, do you know what I'm talking about? Like, that it just
Oh.
messes with your head, and I kid you not, like, I just wanna take all of those away and just
So, y'all notice there was just a cut just there. It's because Morgan said something so profound that we cannot let the public hear it, because we know how people are out there. They're gonna try
thank
and
you.
steal our idea. So what
Thank you.
we're going to do is we're not actually going to let you, but girl, I'm telling you, I walk with geniuses.
Like,
I'm
when I
really excited over that one.
I've wanted to do that for, like, decades,
Mm, mm, mm,
for
mm, mm.
decades, because it would mean so much,
So
so
don't
much.
we know we don't want to we don't want to make them hate us because we're not telling. we're not telling. We're not telling. All right. But it has something to do with clothing, but we're not telling.
Mm,
This idea of fighting weight, rather fighting reflection,
mm,
is it's so many women. I mean, here you are now, and in midlife, it happens again. If I
yeah,
see one more video about a woman who's now in her 50s and saying, like, I eat the same I've always eaten. I work out the way I've always worked out. I don't eat this. I don't eat that. I don't drink this. I don't drink that. And yet I'm putting on weight in my midsection. And it's a freak out when clothes don't fit. It's a freak out. Now, the funny thing for me is that because I always battled being heavy since I was a wee child, I mean,
mhm,
5 years old, that for me in midlife, if something changes in my body, to be honest, my body's not changing that much.
mhm,
But the funny thing is that I don't experience it the same because it's something that's always been there, but that I wish wasn't. So one of the things that I know that's so important is that this idea of something you said about healing your mind and not
mhm,
your body in midlife, you're going to be bombarded. Take this pill, do this shot, do this shake, take, this hormone, that hormone. And are things to look into for sure so that you can feel optimal.
mhm,
But looking optimal in your mirror might be as much as going from a size 10 to a size 12.
mhm,
I would love to know what would happen if you reworked your wardrobe a little bit at a time to a size 12. If you want to keep the 10s, fine. You can bag them up. If you think you're going to go back to that size, great, for a period of time. Because we
mhm.
don't want you and I have talked about this, we don't want our clothes, wagging their finger at us. Like, why? Like life is too short for that.
Well, then and then on top of that, like, every time you go into the closet to put something on, it messes with your head, it
Yeah.
messes with your value, and it's just taking up space. Like, you're not wearing it, you don't feel confident in it, that is such a powerful moment when you go in there and you're like, you just take it off and you put it away. Just get rid of it. It's not serving you.
And imagine if every woman who felt she was gaining weight or her body was changing, because sometimes it's not weight gain, it's just body shift. Sometimes the breasts are growing like they were when you were a teenager, now they're growing again, and it's like, wait, what? Different little things like that. What if everyone who had a change in their body just found someone who's also changing in their body? We all just pass the clothes pass
Mhm.
the garments to the next person. It would be, I just wish it worked that way, but it doesn't. Because what would happen is every single woman would still feel really good about herself as opposed to feeling like I have to buy everything new and something is wrong with me. Because for me, it was more than just my body. It was also the constant battle of perfectionism. And I know that you and I have talked about that.
Mhm.
What does that look like when you've been abused? What does that look like when your family only sees your value because you're beautiful?
Mhm.
Um, that actually filters into it. And I love this movement in the last several years about not just calling our kids pretty or not just saying they're smart, but actually giving them valuable tenets to live by, because being smart doesn't do it for you. You may be smart in this arena and not smart in that arena, or real smart and no common sense, right?
Yeah.
But
Right.
actually letting them know things about them. For me, one of the most important things to say to my kids, and we'll talk more about moms and daughters in our next episode in the series, is I'm so happy I had you.
Mhm.
So happy I had you. Because that's something about me, but it's also something about them. It has nothing to do with how they're doing in school. It has nothing to do with how they're doing as an athlete. It has nothing to do with their body shape or body composition. It has nothing to do with if they're struggling with something mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I'm happy I had you. And it was a coach of mine that told me that for the first time and said, with Caitlin, make sure that you always remind her how happy you are that you had her, because that goes a long way. And unfortunately, for those of us in midlife, our parents weren't that fully evolved.
No.
They didn't say stuff like that to us. So that's how we end up battling with perfection. And shout out to all the parents. We love you guys, but we all grow. We try and do better.
Everything you just said, my brain was on overload
Wow.
because that's a lot. Like to have some, like, have your parents tell you they value you so much that they're happy they had you. Like most parents are like, I can, I brought you in this world, I can take
Take
you out,
yeah.
right? Like, not, I love you, I see you, I appreciate you, I value you, and I'm so
Yeah.
happy that I get to be like, you're a part of
Yeah.
me and I get to be a part of this with you. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's always, and I'm going to be honest, it's not something I always remember to say, especially with, teenage life or the tweens that are getting on your nerves. But I'll tell you what, and this is probably, you know, I'm being naked out here, bra and panty time. But for me with my kids, this is something I literally would put in my phone as a
Mm,
reminder. Tell my daughter she's beautiful. Remind her how happy I was that I had her, how happy that she's in my life. She's married now, and I still do it because we all need it. We're all of us looking in these mirrors and we're like, we're going through all this stuff, all ages. I think in midlife, it's really tricky because no one is feeding back into us. As a
mm,
kid, as a little baby, oh, they're so cute. And growing up, oh my goodness, you're amazing. You're doing this. And then they graduate high school and everyone applauds for them. And then somewhere after marriage, or if you never marry, something happens. And then we become embroiled in just trying to see the beauty, whether
mm,
and, and no one's filtering it back into us. Even if you're married, it can be a struggle. So I think it's not about faking confidence, but it's about seeing ourselves as whole and worthy. So, when we're doing grounding or you're doing mirror work, when you're pausing, we were talking about this in the episode the other week about non-negotiables, and both of us had stillness or rest as one of them. And this is it too. It's doing this mirror work so that we can remember that we're worth slowing down and
mm,
remembering why we're valuable. And again, it's not about, coming up and having this big ego when we're doing it. No, it's about so we can just keep going. It isn't about fake confidence or arrogance. It's about rewriting ourselves. And I think as you and I have been doing our studies and we've been doing the inner child work, oh my goodness, we all need it. And in midlife, when we're taking care of parents and still
mm,
maybe taking care of kids and trying to nurture ourselves, now we're going through change and all these things are happening. We can really miss out on this. So it's super important to start doing it right now.
mm, mm, mm.
So, Morgan, I don't know. Should we tap?
This is the perfect moment to start tapping. Let's work through some of this.
Perfect time, right? Know that, please do this with us. Please go ahead and do it with us. It's very powerful. You're going to see different releases. You may be like, I love myself. I'm great. There's a part of you where you feel insecure. That's human. And the whole goal here with emotional freedom technique is to see you start someplace where maybe you're holding tension, holding overwhelm, holding stress, and see if we can reduce that a little bit by some of the actions, remembering that emotional freedom technique really is like a type of acupuncture without the needles, which is fun, without the needles. And this one, Morgan, I know the goal is to release shame, release that
Mm,
harsh self-talk that we put ourselves through, and to anchor ourselves into a gentler way of looking at ourselves, a more truthful and compassionate self-image. And I usually lead, I'll probably lead next week, but I would love to do this with you to experience this.
the whole purpose of this is to help release our shame, to rewrite the way that all that harsh self-talk that we have, and to really anchor in a more gentler and truthful self-image that we have of ourselves. So what we're going to do is we're going to start on this karate, the side of our hand. This is called our karate chop point. And what I'd like you to do, if sweetheart, is go ahead and repeat after me. Okay. We're going to take a deep breath in and breathe out. Even though I struggle to see myself clearly in the mirror,
Even though I struggle to see myself clearly in the mirror,
I deeply and completely
I deeply and completely
love and accept myself.
love and accept myself.
Even though I judge my reflection and avoid my own eyes,
Even though I've judged my reflection and avoided my own eyes,
I choose to meet myself with honesty and grace.
I choose to meet myself with honesty and grace.
Even though the image in my mind feels hard to face,
Even though the image in my mind feels hard to face,
I'm willing to see myself with compassion,
I'm willing to see myself with compassion,
one breath at a time.
one breath at a time.
Breathe in and out. We're going to start at the eyebrow point. This reflection I've avoided for so long.
This reflection I've avoided for so long.
Side of eye. I've picked myself apart for so many years.
I've picked myself apart for so many years.
Under eye. Judging every wrinkle, curve, and shadow.
Judging every wrinkle, curve, and shadow.
Under nose. I believed the mirror was my enemy.
I believed the mirror was my enemy.
Chin. I let it define my worth and my good days and bad.
I let it define my worth, my good days, and bad.
Collarbone. And sometimes I didn't want to look at it at all.
And sometimes I didn't want to look at it at all.
Stay right there for a second. Under the arm. I've been carrying this silent shame for years.
I've been carrying this silent shame for years.
Top of head. But I'm still here.
But I'm still here.
And I'm ready to face myself.
I'm ready to face myself.
Eyebrow point. What if the mirror was never the enemy?
What if the mirror was never the enemy?
Side of eye. What if it was just a tool to reflect what I carry inside?
What if it was just a tool to reflect what I carry inside?
Under eye. I've seen pain.
I've seen pain.
But I have also seen strength.
But I've also seen strength.
Under nose. I've seen aging.
I've seen aging.
But also wisdom.
But also wisdom.
Chin. I've seen flaws and I've survived them all.
I've seen flaws and I've survived them all.
Collarbone. My reflection has been there through everything.
My reflection has been there through everything.
Underarm. He deserves my respect.
It deserves my respect.
Top of head. I'm learning to look with softness.
I'm learning to look with softness.
Okay, let's relax our body for just a sec. Take a quick second and let's go ahead and take in a deep breath, and we're going to release it with an audible sound. So we're going to breathe in and out all the way quickly. Do that one more time. Breathe in. And when you're breathing out, do it as fast and push all the air out. Very good. Now what we're going to do is, with this next round, we're going to rewrite our story. Okay? So we're going to start with the eyebrow point. I choose to rewrite what I see.
I choose to rewrite what I see.
Side of eye. I am not a mistake.
I am not a mistake.
I am a masterpiece in progress.
I am a masterpiece in progress.
Under eye. My beauty is not defined by filters or angles.
My beauty is not defined by filters or angles.
Under nose. I am allowed to look with love, not criticism.
I am allowed to look with love, not criticism.
Chin. I am worthy of being seen by others and by myself.
I am worthy of being seen by others and by myself.
Collarbone. I can meet myself with truth and tenderness.
I can meet myself with truth and tenderness.
Hmm. Under the arm. I do not need perfection. I need peace.
I do not need perfection. I need peace.
Just stay there for a second. Let's release all of that right there. I do not need perfection. I need peace.
I do not need perfection. I need peace.
Hmm. Top of head. And peace starts in the mirror.
And peace starts in the mirror.
Let's put our hands down and take another deep breath in. And this time we are going to blow it out slowly but completely. Now for our final round, what we're going to do, when you're ready, that was a lot. We're going to go ahead and we're going to seal this in and anchor it in with our final affirmation, okay? So we're going to start at our eyebrow. I am here.
I am here.
Side of eye. I am real.
I am real.
Under eye. I am growing.
I am growing.
Under nose. I am more than enough.
I am more than enough.
Your chin. I can look at myself with kindness.
I can look at myself with kindness.
Collarbone. I am reclaiming my reflection.
I am reclaiming my reflection.
Underarm. I am beautiful because I am whole.
I am beautiful because I am whole.
Top of head. I face the mirror with compassion and I am proud of what I see.
I face the mirror with compassion and I am proud of what I see.
We're going to take one more deep breath in. As you're blowing it out, just release the tension in your shoulders and your neck. And I welcome you to join me back whenever you're ready.
Morgan. Girl.
You know, between the mirror work that we just did,
The grounding.
girl, the grounding and the tapping. This one, like, we need to like, what do you do? Like, I don't even know the verbiage. Put this at the top of everything. Like,
Pin.
everybody needs to see
Pin.
this.
Pin it, honey. Pin it.
Put a pin in it.
Woo!
Oh my goodness, this is crazy.
Yeah.
For this week, literally, like, challenge yourself. Do this mirror work for 7 days, just for a minute, doesn't have to be long, and stand in front of the mirror, say just one truth, and notice what happens.
Yeah.
No exceptions, no judgment, just you showing up for yourself in this present moment in time, baby, and you will see the difference.
It's
Feel
so
the difference.
powerful. It's so
Mhm.
powerful. You know, and if you did do it with us and you're like, I would like a little bit more of that, I want to put our link up right here, bit.ly/tap-chat. Yeah, it loosened you up, right? I had a release in my neck. It popped so loud, I can't imagine that you guys didn't hear it. My neck popped so incredibly loud there. It was crazy. The things that happen when you do, especially, you know, we really spent extra time with that particular tapping. Thank you, Morgan, for leading us. But also the grounding work, the mirror work. You know, we can't, I would love to have enough time right now to do a little write and release, but we don't have the time. Maybe we'll do it next week. But these are some of the modalities. These are a good handful of some of the modalities that we use that are really powerful. And there are ones that that I specialize in. Like, I specialize in write and release. Morgan is amazing at grounding. We both do tapping, but it's like a really big special. I've been using tapping for some time. We know how women feel, not because of us, although we're women, but because of what who we've worked with and what we've been through. Line with that, we're going to be talking what happens when the image in your mind doesn't match reality. Because the thing
Mm,
is that sometimes, and that can be good or bad, you have people who have this amazing image of themselves. It's not about the physicality, but a lot of it has to do with who they are as
yeah.
people, you know,
Mm,
reflections of confidence, but it also has to be stemmed in some level of reality. So we're going to go a little bit deeper next week. Again, this is a two-part series. We're going to be talking about rewriting self-image, breaking generational cycles, which is that one right there I could talk about for the entire month of July. Like the generational cycle thing is the one that probably got me into coaching to begin with, because I knew from a very, very, very young age, and I'm not exaggerating, 4 or 5 years old, that there was something wrong
mm,
with the way my family saw people, and not just my immediate family, all of my family, and they still do. I still hear, and I won't get into it right now because I'll really go on a tangent, but I still hear that negative talk about how people look, how they react, and I notice I'm hyper aware to it. So I hear it everywhere. I hear it
mm,
from everyone all the time. And it's not about me. It's about other people. And it really, really disgusts me. And so we're going to be talking about rewriting that, but also how we rewrite the way we see other people, the
mm.
way so that we can affect change as women for the next generation, not just our
Right.
daughters, but
Uh-huh.
also our sons, and then who they look for to partner with. Because let me tell you something, you're not the only one looking in the mirror. Your daughter, your niece, the young women in your life, and your sons, they're watching. They're watching all of us. You've got, look, you got a brood of kids over there. Only kidding. Only kidding. You have double what I got, right? And even as an adult, even in your 40s, even in midlife, what we do, what we say, and how we react in front of mirrors matters. And they're still watching. So they'll
Mm,
either learn to embrace what they see or run from it. And running from it can be very detrimental. It can be down to eating disorders, drugs, different. We're not about that life. So I'm excited about this next session. How do you feel about this? I know you're a little like you're like, what are we going to talk about, Chatone? How do you feel about this?
well, I'm really excited just because of everything we went through today, and this I'm not even joking when I say every part of the grounding, the mirroring, the tapping, this it went together so well. So I am really excited to invite everybody back for the part 2 because that's when we're gonna be talking about beyond the reflection.
Yes.
So, we'll see you all soon. So come
All
back
right,
next
so we'll see you then. Listen, bookmark this. Make sure you share this, especially this episode. Share this. This is a precursor to something we're going to do special in July. Please
Mm,
make sure you share this, comment, like, subscribe, all the good stuff. But stick around because we're going to, as we grow and getting to after, we're going to be finding all the topics, the things that you most want to hear about, most want to talk about that has to do with you, not just getting better, but getting to after. Have an
mm,
amazing, amazing day. Whenever as you see this, we'll see you next time. Take care.
bye.